Hello and welcome back to another housing video for Final Fantasy XIV, covering more things added in patch 7.3 onwards. We have only a few left to actually look at, and I thought we'd put them all into one video, so we've got a few bits and pieces. First of all, let's talk about doors. I know, right? Doors. If you go to your housing merchant in any of the housing locations, I'm in the Seagaze market here at the housing merchant. This applies to any of the housing merchants anywhere. And you go to the partitions, tick the show only recently added items, and then you'll see all of the new items. So there's a log partition door for 5,000. And then for 9,500, we've got the minimalist Riviera partition door, minimalist Glade, minimalist Oasis, Hingen, and Highland partitions. All of these, as you can see, are 9,500 gil, apart from the log partition door. So that's the first thing to look at. There's a few other bits. So this is what the doors look like then. We have the Oasis door, we have the Glade door, we have the Riviera door, and we have the Highland door, as well as the Hingen door, the minimalist partitions. They are, as you would expect, quite similar. We have this stock sort of coloration, and this is best to suit different house styles, right? There are obviously different styles of interior area. They all open, and they have slightly different doors, so it just gives you a better idea of the designs themselves. And if you've always wanted to get like a Hingen door, for example, for your Hingen estate, you totally can. Yeah, there's not really much to talk about there. Just thought I'd showcase those, that they exist. Additionally to that, then, there's also the log partition door. We had the log partition added previously, which is a log partition, but now we have a log partition door to go with that. Yeah, awesome. Lots of new doors to play with. So if you're looking to make a log cabin or a design indoors of some description to somehow make it look like a log cabin on the inside, maybe you're down with nature, that could definitely work, right? I quite like the details on the door themselves. Actually, it's almost like knot work. The only other observation is that none of these are actually dyeable in any way, shape, or form, so that's obviously an issue if you want to go for some customization. But of course, these are partitions that you can apply designs to. Of course, any of the interior wallpapers would obviously work for this, so you could have a mix of things depending on what you like. So you just simply get the design you would like. For example, let's go for the plaid interior wall for this one, which is a fairly new one added to the game. And it's as simple as that. And here's a demonstration of some of those wall designs applied as wallpaper. A lot of people still don't know that you can do this, and it is pretty helpful, especially if you want to redecorate somewhere. The only upside to this is that design. The biggest downside is the undyeable nature of the actual door itself. You know, you're not just talking about a basic partition here, we're talking about a door. So it would be cool in the future if we could actually change the color of the doors as well on these. But having something, a furnishing that's dyeable, as well as having an action such as an opening door mechanism, does not seem to be something that is in the game yet, unfortunately. So you're still going to have to rely on the door being the same design that it is here, unfortunately. One of the other things that was added in 7.3 was the honeycomb carpet, which I've not seen a lot of people talk about. In fact, it's not even on our market board. This is something you can craft with Weaver. It's not particularly difficult to craft, just a level 100 basic craft for your Weaver using Runique Surge, Snow Cotton Cloth, Almasty Surge, and Mortar, as well as some Wind and Lightning Crystals, with a 4,207 recommended craftsmanship. And of course, that's what that looks like, if you were wondering. So that's a new fixture change. It's quite a nice hexagonal floor, actually. It's got this kind of like soft texture. It's not a clumpy texture, so that your sort of footsteps are muffled. And there are hexagonal designs of all different colors. If you're going for something a little bit artsy, perhaps, or maybe, I don't know, like a gym room, it could work for that. It's quite nice, isn't it? Not too bad. Again, not seen many people with this yet. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's those specific colors. It's not the most bright, you know, explosive set of colors, but there we go. All right, so that's that as well. And there's our partitions with the new floor. We've got one more item that I forgot to actually cover, which is the lamppost. the Everkeep lamppost. This is actually something you can get from Vault 1 Iron or Onairen, depending on how you want to pronounce that, the new treasure map dungeon in 7.3. So for this, we're going to need a table. Let's get our trusty Carby table. And this then is what it looks like. It says, the neon glow of this Everkeep fixture has been softened for indoor use rather. So this is something you would see. Now, of course, it does say tabletop, which means we can have this as a floor lamp, or of course we can place this on a table. This is very nice that they've started to do this with a lot of items. Sorry, that is actually going to annoy me, not being in the center. There we go, that's better. My OCD has been satiated. It's really nice that they've added more things recently just to the tabletop category rather than just having them as, you know, anything else. Having them able to place on tables also means that you're able to place them on lofts. This is something I'm pretty happy about with Square Enix's housing design people. I think that everything that is a freestanding object should be listed as a tabletop item, because that way we can still have it on the floor if we want to, and also on tabletops and lofts count as a tabletop. So there's that as well. Yeah, it's not too bad. It looks like sort of like a big pink sort of neon, well, I guess a lamppost is what it's saying, but kind of reminds me of lava lamps a little bit. And if you're wondering how much light this thing actually puts out, let's drop the lighting all the way down to minimum. It's pretty cool. It actually creates quite a nice amount of light, as you can see. So if you, for example, in your G-Post studio wanted some neon lights, these are pretty good. They're freestanding, so the glamour potential's there. It's got a soft neon sort of pink. It's quite subtle, actually. It's more subtle than it is on the light. So in G-Pose, you could have like side effects from different sources of light, which is probably what I would end up using this for personally. But it's not a bad little freestanding item, honestly. And I can imagine as we get more and more Solution 9 themed housing items and Neo sort of housing items, you know, with the cosmic exploration stuff as well, we could make some really interesting stuff. Anyway, let me know what you think of any of these items. Again, it's a bit of a hodgepodge of a video, mostly because when you get to the bottom of a barrel of housing items to sort of cover, they're not really in a category. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.